quick update on the road to 21-inch arms. I did a pumped measurement today, which usually, normally I do my measurements cold, not after a workout, when the muscle is just in its normal flaccid state. But once in a while, for fun, I'll do a measurement right after the session. And the pipes came in at 19.75 inches pumped. Holy pipe zaddies. That's a new high for me. Peak pump at the end of the workout, the arms are almost 20-inch Python arenos. That's a pretty crazy thought. And the pump is kind of like what you could be 6 months in the future. You're getting a glimpse. If you do everything right and you stay locked in, this is what my physique could look like in 6 months. So that's pretty exciting. I would say the pump normally seems to add about a half inch. My last measurement a couple weeks ago, they were 19 and an eighth. So, maybe this pumped measurement would say that they're 19 and a quarter cold. Maybe they're inching up towards that. Also, body weight is going up, 238 pounds just now. After eating dinner, I've had, 4 or 5 meals today, fully hydrated, through 238 pounds. Jesus Christ, dude. So much for a cut. Anyways, what I want to talk to you guys about today is, I don't really have like a super preachy message of like, this is what you need to do, but I think it would be a useful conversation to at least share my experience losing friends when you try to prioritize a different direction in your life or a goal. It's not really a fun thing to experience. And I think any of you who, especially with fitness and working out, if you have like a really extreme goal or even just a moderate goal, not everybody's into the gym and training, right? And your friends that you've been hanging out with, they may not have the same goal to, maybe lose 50 pounds of weight or to, gain 20 pounds of muscle or to just make it to the gym 4 times a week and drink a little less on the weekends. Even if you have a moderate goal like that, or if it's something really extreme and you're trying to be a competitive bodybuilder, I think regardless, there's a percentage of the population is into the gym, but there's inevitably going to be probably some of your friends or family or your partner that isn't, and they may not be in full support. Not purposely even, but just by default that they don't have the same desire. And I think the harsh reality is that you have to choose. I think it's almost impossible to tiptoe the line in between, meaning like achieve your goal and maintain the friends and the relationships or whatever while you change into a different person. Because I think the reality is if your goal is to be something different that you currently aren't, and you're looking at the physical representation of that as I'm going to be 50 pounds less, or I'm going to have another 20 pounds of muscle, or I'm going to, whatever it is, you have to change who you are. It's just the reality. You have to change how you think. You have to change your habits. So people don't fully digest. They'll just say my goal is like, I'm going to drop 20 pounds of fat and gain 20 pounds of muscle. It's like it's possible. But that physical result is not in isolation of the mental and emotional shift that you're going to have to go through, a wholesale change as a person. And to do that, to change your actions, your habits, your perspective, your mind, you're going to find it puts strain on your current relationships, because your current relationships are based on how you are right now or how you've been in the past. And a lot of relationships are based on common interest, which is just the reality. And when that common interest deteriorates, if before you spent a lot of time partying and drinking, like this was one for me in my early 20s, a lot of my friendships were based off of partying and whatever. And then when I, wanted to prioritize the gym more, it put a lot of strain on those relationships and ended a lot of them. And that's difficult. And that was kind of just like an introductory version of it, because I wasn't that extreme about working out. I was just like, holy, I don't want to get blackout on the weekends and like ruin all my gains from the week. Like, what am I doing working out so hard during the week to just kind of piss it all away on the weekends? Kind of started to get to that point. But there was expectations to continue to party and not just like, I'm going to have 2 drinks. Like, guys, peer pressure with drinking. It's like, and they're used to you being a party animal, and all of a sudden you want to have 2 Bud Lights and chill. That ain't going to happen, man. You're going to feel the heat. And nowadays, I'm very committed to the gym and, sticking to making content, on prioritizing, trying to elevate the physical result that I can produce. Just because I don't want to be putting a ton of energy into making content when my physical results are mediocre. I've kind of been there in the past, and a lot of things to say and ways to edit content to get more views and stuff. But it's like, especially in fitness, it's so oversaturated. It's like, what are you really bringing? Have you really achieved something exceptional? So I'm making more sacrifices and trying to find ways to achieve a truly physical, exceptional result and walk that path, and then share the insights with you guys along the way and inspire you to do the same thing. But none of that matters. Like, you can yap and talk, but it's like, if you haven't built that, if I don't build 21-inch ripped arms, which is like world-class arm development, it's okay. You've got some decent muscle on your arms and you've got some interesting things to say about training, and that's great. And some of you are interested in watching, and I appreciate any of you that are here. But in my mind, I'm like earn that shit. You want to put out this message and inspire people. Like, become inspiring. That's how I'm thinking about it. So I'm trying everything I can to see if I can become exceptional physically at the thing that I love to do. It's a privilege to find something that you love, and then I want to turn this into a career, and I want to become exceptional at this and then share that with other people to inspire other people. That's an entitled, kind of privileged goal to have. And so to achieve that, I'm having to go to extreme lengths, and it may not even be possible. There's no certainty, right? And that's another part of it. I say all that to try to demonstrate that, my lifestyle choices and the shifts that I'm making, distancing myself from who I was previously, because it's necessary to take on a different way of thinking, different habits, different attributes, in order to continue to succeed. For example, like going for something that there is no guarantee, and it's something you're passionate about, you have a vision. There's a certain mentality that comes with that a lot of weak thoughts of like, oh, it's just not possible. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, it seems ridiculous. That a lot of people that you could associate with, or that I've associated with, think like that. And I don't mean it in like a harsh way, but it's just like, you can't really associate with that type of thinking if you expect to become the person who achieves something exceptional. And I'm not saying it's a guarantee that I will, but I'm trying to do that. And I think a lot of times people, they go like, oh, I'm just going to go dark. I'm just going to be a loner so I can become successful. Just ghost everyone. And I don't think that's the right way to think about it. I think you should want to have friends. You should want to have community. But if you start to find that it's impeding your ability to transform your mentality, your thinking, and then downstream your habits and your actions and the physical results you get, then you have to be willing to distance yourself. I think that's the way to go about it, with the optimism to hopefully meet new people that are more aligned. But if you're doing something, like in my case, it's very unusual, it's hard to find people that share a similar mindset, that want to try to push themselves to their physical limit and look at all of their shortcomings and like, what are the things that have limited me? That's not like a common thing, a way that people operate. And it's, it's, instead of having excuses or rationale for why you're not at that result, which is much more common, it's what else am I doing that is holding me back from getting to that result? For example, like I'm looking at my sleep habits and I'm like, I'm going to bed at 11, that's not unacceptable. I need to be in bed at 10, and so, oh, it's okay because of this, that reason. No. If you want this exceptional result, you got to be an elite recoverer. You got to do this. You got to go to bed at 10, as an example, right? Or when I'm in the gym, there's no room to think about checking the box in any session. This is a growth day. I am coming to the gym to grow every single day. No matter how you feel, I'm not saying recovery and fatigue doesn't exist. It does. But once you're in the gym and you're there, you may as well adopt the mindset that I'm going to find a way to grow. Like sense of urgency. Like I'm going to stimulate growth today. And that then kind of necessitates like a very unforgiving kind of extreme mentality. Which when I'm in the gym and I'm warming up and doing all my mobility and stuff, that I'm kind of going through the motions. You know, it doesn't require extreme fucking focus and I'm so hardcore. It's like I'm just doing the mobility. I'm trying to relax, calm my nervous system down, loosen up my hips, loosen up my shoulders, deal with these issues so then I can go train. And I'll chat with people and I'm friendly and whatever. I like talking to people at the gym. But then when it comes time to train, I can't talk to somebody who, you know, oh, what's up, dude? Oh, I'm kind of tired and I don't feel like training. Like I can't, like just an example, right? I'm like, I can't, like that thought does not exist in my world. Like there's no room for that thought. And like when people say that, I'll just be like, no, you're not. I'll be like, no, you're not. You're going to crush it. Give them a pound. I put my headphone back in. I don't even give them an opportunity to continue. You know? I'm just like, nah, dude, you're going to crush it. Pound and I'm just gone. It's just, again, it's not, I think the way that this could come across is like, oh, you think you're better than other people because it's not. I've just found it's just necessary. Like if I'm actually going to continue to make improvements to try to get to 21-inch arms and develop some of the most exceptional arms on the planet, there's no room for me to be the old version where I'm easygoing, golden retriever energy, want to be friends with everybody and just making room for all these other perspectives and energies. There's just no space for that because it is, I can't understate in my experience the linkage between the way you think and then the physical results and circumstances that come downstream of that. So you go, oh, well, just talk. But it's like if you're consistently around that person or these people that, you know, for example, they don't want to go to the gym or they think the gym is stupid and you're trying to discipline yourself to change, to go all the time, it's going to be so fucking difficult because it's hard enough to change yourself without any resistance. You know, like you're already like you want to take the plunge and you decide and some people don't want to change and that's fine. Like there's no right or wrong. Like somebody who's just wants to do exactly what they're doing, who am I to say that they're not happier and more fulfilled than I am, right? It just depends on your personal definition of life. But and this is how I feel, if you feel the same way, which I know there's a good amount of people that do, they're going, I don't really want to keep living like this, but it's just sort of easy and convenient and comfortable and all my friends and my family and people they all think like this and they all live like this and community is important to me. We're not really meant to be alone, so I'll just keep doing it. But you know there's something else that you want to do and maybe you get to a point where it just becomes so much more important to you for your happiness, fulfillment, and overall, you know, finding meaning and purpose and enjoyment of your life that you want to live this different way. And in the example of like fitness, you want to commit to like a fitness lifestyle, but all the friends that you've currently been with aren't really like that. They go once in a while, whatever, and that's what you do. I think that the reality is, from what I've seen, is like if you actually are serious and you want to make that change, you have to stop associating with those people and you have to be willing to lose friends. But I think the mistake is that people are like, I'm going to be successful. I'm better than my friends. I'm going to just stop talking to everyone. No. You're committed to doing this thing, let's say like adopting the fitness lifestyle, eating healthy, going to the gym consistently. If you're committed to that, you'll notice that you immediately get resistance from some of your friends or family or whoever who don't do that, who aren't prioritizing the same thing. And I think the objective should be, I want to keep as many people in my life as I can, but I have to be brutally honest with myself. If I'm actually serious about this goal and I actually want to do it, I have to be willing, if I keep meeting resistance from these people when I'm trying to make these shifts, I have to be willing to distance myself from them. I think that's just the harsh truth because it's so hard to transform yourself even in a vacuum where it's just you against you, because we all have so much bullshit. That's what I found. So I was like, there's no way I can actually morph who I am and start taking on a different way of thinking, a different way of acting if I'm around all these people. And another one, like to give it more context, is like I've been developing my ability to sit in stress where I would run. And that's how like a lot of people are. So as soon as you feel the first instinct of discomfort and stress, you get that negative emotional trigger. Ooh, it doesn't feel good. You get a knot in your stomach. My approach would be like, I need to solve the problem. I need to do something. I need to whatever. Whereas now I'm like, well, is this action or these circumstances leading, is it on the path to where I want to go? Yes. Then I need to just sit in this, and things are fucked. Things don't feel good. This relationship is upside down. This aspect is uncertain. There's all these problems. And previous me would change course of action, deviating away from taking the specific actions that are going to get me closer to my goal to in the short term make myself feel better. And that's been a huge limitation in the past. And that would be something where I'm more likable to other people, because I will change to make them feel more comfortable. Or I will make concessions so that to sort of bend myself a little bit so that they feel okay about what I'm doing. And then like, that's what they want. That makes them feel more comfortable. My actions now make them feel more comfortable. Instead, you sit in that discomfort and go, the relationship is frayed, or this thing is uncertain, and this is upside down, and all this stuff is kind of fucked. But these, to me, are all necessary things and changes I have to make in my mind and with my actions to continue to get to where I want to go. So therefore, I need to sit in this stress and just accept that things are fucked for a little bit. That's a skill that I've been building lately that has helped a lot. And that's another thing that is like maybe not super common. Like the old version of me wasn't able to do that. And the old version of me associated with other people that also didn't have a high proficiency of dealing with stress and uncertainty. And we all had a similar mindset of how we would react to problems, because people that you attract and are friends with, you're going to have a lot of overlap. You're not going to hang out with people that think about life completely fucking differently and live completely differently than you. It doesn't mean you can't have personality differences, but like core values, common interests, and are usually pretty similar. There's usually a lot of overlap, and there's usually like a similar lifestyle being lived. Anyways, I don't know if I'm framing it and saying it in all the right words, but the point being is that I don't think you can understate the effect that your social circles will have on the end results that you get in your life and your circumstances. And I think the goal should be to have friends and community that are aligned with what you're doing. That should be the end goal. Not to just go monk mode and not talk to anyone. Like that's like a glorified, stupid way of going about it. You want friends. You're not better than anyone because you're just going to stop talking to people and not go out and party because you're going to become so successful. That's a stupid, immature way to think about it. You're not fucking better than anyone, regardless. You just feel internally that you want to do something different with your life for yourself, regardless of your standing. That's where it should come from, because if it's to be better than other people and show them that you're better, I'm not saying that we're not all aware and we don't compete with each other. We do, but if that's the main driver is to just show people, then it's a mistake. It's not going to last. It has to actually be for yourself. It has to actually be like, you know what, like for me, it's like I love the gym. I want to prioritize trying to get the craziest, most freaky physical result, arm development of all time for myself. Like that's what is meaningful to me. I love doing it. It's just like, yes, this is it. Let's go. And I want to be friends with as many people as possible, but I've just found that it's just difficult, and it's not always hard feelings. But it's just, you're going to have a tough time. I have a tough time associating with people who don't think similarly. It's just because I see all of my previous self in them. That's what it is. It's not like there's not anything wrong with this person, but it's just like, oh, I used to think like that. Oh, I used to do that. And it's like, I'm working so hard to shift, to be like, we need to take on new actions, new perspectives, take on more risk, change your mindset. Like you got to shift who you are. If you want to become something you're currently not, you got to give up where you are. You got to give up your comforts. You got to give up your current way of thinking. Everything in you, down to the exact neuron in your brain, each individual one contributes to who you are and what your circumstances are. And your social circle reinforces that you may have built up over years and years. So to break out of that and change, if you have that reinforcing social circle, you're going to be swimming upstream. It's going to be so difficult to do. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. I think there's like a healthy way to approach it. You should be optimistic to have friends. And the way I look at it is like, I hope in the future to align with more extreme fitness enthusiast content creators. Like that's my goal. And whenever I meet somebody that's really into the gym and or is interested in content, I'll try to talk to them. I'll try to engage and be like, are we compatible? Can we be friends? Because we have these common interests. Or just somebody it doesn't even have to necessarily be the gym, but somebody who's like taking a risk and trying to do something audacious that means a lot to them. Those are the type of people that I can see my current self and the self I'm aiming for in. And so I see, oh, this aligns. We're kind of thinking in a similar way. And the last thing I'll finish with is like, to me, it's not like a super common, usual thing to try and really change who you are to get a different result. Yeah. And so I think if you're truly doing it for genuine purposes to try to reach a result that you want for yourself, I think you're going to just be lonely, and and that's just the way it's supposed to be at certain parts. It's going to be difficult. You just have to break out of the reinforcing surrounding energy from your social circle, your family, relationships that are trying to reinforce the person that you were. Yeah, I think that's just the reality. And some, maybe some of you will hear that and relate, and maybe it resonates. And as it pertains to the gym, it maybe give you a little more confidence to keep doing what you're doing, even though it doesn't feel good sometimes. And I think that's just the harsh reality of trying to change your life in pursuit of a different lifestyle, a different goal that you want to live. You're going to meet a lot of resistance, and some of it might come from your family too. Some of your family might not think that that's the right way to live, and they may not fully agree, and that's not their fault. That's not there's nothing. That's just nature of the beast. So yeah, again, not really like super prescriptive. Like this is exactly how to do it, because I think it's social stuff is messy no matter what. Just want to share my experience, how I'm thinking about it, to at least, create some conversation, maybe allow a few of you to feel more seen and understood if you're experiencing something similar. And if you're choosing to push your limits to try to do something that's difficult, this is just one of the many challenges that comes along the way. And it's a trade-off. If you want to maintain your social circle and not fray any of your current relationships, then you have to sacrifice trying to do this audacious shift or different life that you want to try to live. Both have pros and cons, as I've kind of talked about in other videos. I think that's how my brain looks at it. Like logically, it's just like, yeah, this is just what comes with the territory. You can either choose that it's worth it or not. For some people, it might not be. I'm not here to tell anyone that this is the right way to live. I'm just saying this is what is meaningful to me. I think there will be others of you that resonate and go, that's kind of how I feel too. And so just trying to create some narrative, some discussion to ease, your journey as, maybe you fray some of your personal relationships to try to reach your fitness goals. And maybe you have to drop some friends or some people that, just aren't supportive, and that's hard. And it's just part of it though, if you want to actually get the goal. So there you go. Thanks for watching. If you want the ARM program, link below. If you want to know some of the things I'm doing in the enhanced world, I'm putting all that stuff on the same website on the ARM course. If you go to the website, you'll see it's just advertising an ARM program. There's also the hormone enhancement tab where I, kind of upload consistently talking about some of the things that I'm doing there to be transparent and share that progress and that journey as well. It's a fascinating thing in and of itself. So go grow some absolutely bite baddies. Thanks for watching, man. Hope you're doing good out there. Have a great day. Peace.